Hello, Cindy here. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today, talking about signs that you're intimidating to men and what to do about it. So, this is actually a hot topic of conversation, especially with my clients. I work with many women that are smart, successful, have so many things going for them in their life. And, you know, there's this feeling, or maybe even people have shared with you, maybe you've had male friends or female friends shared that you might be a little bit intimidating. So I'm going to give you some signs, signs that you may be intimidating to men and how to shift that. So first, I want to give you a caveat around that. There may be some men that are just intimidated, period. So there's nothing we can do about that. And, I understand the challenge of, feeling like you really want to be yourself, you want to be fully self-expressed. However, there's this, factor around maybe you're not so some of the signs that you might be intimidating to men is you're not the men that you're interested in may not be interested in you, or you're just, it seems like you're missing people, or there are some men that are really interested in you have no interest in, or there's men that you talk to but they seem really, really nervous around you, or or you end up going out on a lot of first dates and it's not moving forward to second, third, and fourth dates. So intimidation is something that is not necessarily always what you think. And let me give you an example of that. So remember, growing up, I was actually pretty shy. So it's been hard for me, even just throughout my life, to put myself out there, to speak up, because I've been shy, and shyness can be, lack of self-esteem and self-confidence. So I'm much, much, much better about that. However, there's a little piece of that that's still there. I remember there was a time in my life where I used to go out to dance clubs all the time with my girlfriends, or, we'd be going out, and many of them would meet guys, and most of the time I didn't. Most of the time I would, maybe chat with people here and there, but again, they weren't really necessarily the people I was really interested in chatting with. And I never understood why there was such a disconnect, why it was so difficult for me to connect. And so, you might think, oh, well, you're intimidating. Yes and no. So I'm gonna share that with you, because there's some common misconceptions when it comes to intimidation. My clients that are smart, successful, they take care of business, you might be a single mom, you've got it going on. You've always been someone who's figured out your life. You've been able to take care of yourself. There are, that's a different energy, right? And you're driven. You've had real purposes in your life. So, which is great. And many, many women do, especially today. I mean, we're really living in an amazing time for women. And it can be an awkward time for dating as well. So if you're being faced with any of these challenges, or you even feel like you've intimidated men, I would love to, just put yes in the comments below. Yes, I hear you. Yes, I have. That would be super helpful because, everyone, I think many of us can identify with feeling that way. So I'm going to start with, the fact that maybe you've had many of your friends get approached, or you might even be dealing with this online where it's just really a hit and miss and you're not connecting, again, with the kind of people you want to connect with. So there's another even intimidation factor, or a feeling of intimidation when it comes to online as well. So I call this the Ice Queen syndrome. So the Ice Queen syndrome is basically a woman that is not truly an ice queen, but has a wall of protection around her. So the wall of protection might be because you don't want to get hurt. It might be because you're a little bit shy. You're not, it's harder for you to put yourself out there. You're a sensitive person. You want to do the right thing. You want to connect with the right person. Well, I used to be what you call an ice queen. So I get together with my friends. We go out, dancing or being social or at a bar or something like that. And I would, again, like I said, I'd oftentimes not get approached. However, the other side to that, if I did get approached, it would be by someone who was pretty gregarious and would work really hard to try to get to know me. So what I would perceive that as is somebody that was really interested in me. And, I may or may not have been interested in them in the beginning. However, they worked really hard to try to build a connection. They might have, so they have what I call an ice pick, trying to bring those walls down. So the Ice Queen has this almost like I call the invisible shield. You're a little bit shy, your heart's guarded. It's harder for you to really open up to people, maybe a little bit harder for you to be vulnerable. Okay, so you might be intimidating some men, or men really, and the intimidation, I use that loosely because there are a high majority of men that really aren't intimidated by women. They're intimidated by their energy. They don't necessarily, they're not attracted to their energy. Men on the whole are attracted to happy women that are open, that they feel like they could connect with, they could have a conversation with, and they're not going to get their head bit off, or the woman's not going to reject them. So if you're in the Ice Queen mode, you may not have a smile on your face. It may be harder for you to open up because it might just be a little bit uncomfortable for you. So there's things that you can practice around that. And so you might attract someone that is, trying to break those walls down. The thing about that is the Ice Queen will a lot of times attract someone that's more predatory, that can see that you actually have those walls up. They want to break them down, and then once they do, and you allow yourself to trust them, because somebody that is in Ice Queen mode, they have a really hard time trusting. So from that vantage point, what can happen is that, you might open yourself up to someone, And once they get what they want from you. So a lot of times predatorial people will, want a physical relationship. And I don't think that's true for most men. I think a lot of women will find that to be, will think, oh gosh, these men don't want commitment, or they just want one thing. And that is not true, especially as a man is maturing or has matured more. He's not looking for that. So, but the predatory men typically are. So what'll happen is they will pull back, and predatorial men can be people like narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, along those lines. So they will start pulling at your heartstrings and not, and you will actually feel like it's your fault. So that's one form of intimidation that can happen, and inadvertently it attracts the wrong type of person. So being aware of that. The other thing too, and remembering men like happy, approachable women. So, making sure that your online photos, you're smiling, you look happy, you're approachable, your profile is positive and approachable and descriptive. So there's that piece. The other one too is you might be you're a driven woman. You know who you are. Maybe you hold a management or CEO or CFO position, or you hold a higher position. And what can, and you like to get stuff done. You get a lot out of your work. So it's so easy when you're in that place, and maybe you have responsibilities like, maybe you're a mom, maybe, you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. So there's this mode that you go into, which is a doing mode. It's a very masculine energy. So your work life is very masculine. Also, being a mother is the most masculine job you can do. And a lot of women don't identify with that because they think, oh, being a mom is really feminine. And, if I'm playing with my kids, or, taking my kids to soccer practice and watching them, or helping them with their homework, that's doing energy. So the feminine energy is receptive energy. So this is a big thing that will push men away or intimidate the right guys from coming close to you. So you might be interested in, smart, successful, driven men. And smart, successful, driven men, they love successful women. They do. They love their brains, they love the way they work. And again, I think there is a, thought and belief that, really, really successful men like women that are, more bimbos, so to speak. And that's not true. I mean, there are smaller, fewer men that feel that way. The thing that men really desire is they desire a woman that feels feminine to them. So when you're in your masculine energy and you're in your doing energy and you're not actually allowing yourself to receive. So receiving can be asking for help or being open. And those things will push men away. It has nothing to do with being a beautiful blonde or brunette and you're driven. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. what it has to do with is your energy of do, go, 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 and not necessarily slowing down, getting intimate, being connected in the moment. And I feel like many of us, as women, we can